this semester, the 10th one. Now, it took me a while to decide what I was going to speak about today, because there's a lot of things I'd like to talk about. But really, I want to talk about something that's kind of close to my heart, that happened roughly a little over 2 months ago, on February 4th to be exact. While I was walking to my next class, I received a phone call one day, and not a phone call, I'm sorry, a text message from my mom saying, do you have a class next, do you have another class? And I said, yeah, I do, why? And she said, you need to come home right now. And I was a little curious, so I kept asking why, and she said, just get home as fast as you can. And I said, no, I want to know why, because I'm like that, I'm very curious. And she said, and she called me. She didn't respond with a text, she called me. And on the phone, she was sobbing, and I said, what's wrong? And she said, hurry home, because your cousin Anthony just passed away last night. And right at that second, everything around me just crashed. Everything. I couldn't think straight. My mind was going a million miles per second. I drove home, silent, no music whatsoever, nothing, just a straight 20-minute drive to my house down south. And I get home, and my whole family's there, and they're packing quick, because my family's over in Puerto Rico where he passed away. And they come up to me and they say, pack your things, the plane leaves tonight at 9:30, you have 3 hours. So I really didn't know what to do. So I go onto Facebook and I checked my cousin's page, and it was just people streaming, rest in peace, we'll miss you, all that stuff. And someone put a link to an article about the accident over there in Puerto Rico. I don't speak Spanish very well, I understand it, so I was reading it. And I saw his name, Anthony Leon Valentin, in the headlines. And I saw a picture of his body in a body bag being carried away on a stretcher. And I could tell that the paramedics weren't in a hurry because they knew he was already gone. And what it was he was in a motorcycle accident. Died on impact. The day he got back from a trip in Orlando with some friends. The day he flew in. But really, I didn't feel the full emotional impact until I sat down on that plane. I sat in the middle row between two strangers, and I just let it all out. I didn't care at that point. Really didn't matter to me at all. So it's a 2.5-hour flight. And to be honest, it felt like I was flying to Europe or something, because it was really long. I tried drawing, I tried going on my phone, keep myself busy, but I couldn't. It was just all so sudden that I just couldn't do anything about it. So we finally arrived to the beach house that we rented at 3 in the morning, eventually, because landed in San Juan, but we live roughly an hour west of San Juan, where my family's from. The day of the funeral comes 2 days later. I get dressed up in my nicest suit. We get to the funeral home, and everyone's just destroyed. It's a small town, so almost everyone's there. I walk in, and it was an open casket, and I'm like, my God. Because I heard his face was just disfigured from the accident, but they put it together as much as they could. I walked in like this, covering my face, because I didn't want to see the body at all. Because I didn't want to have that picture in my mind. I didn't want that to be the last movie with him. So I kept telling everyone who asked me, are you going to see him? Are you going to see him? And I told them, I'll wait till my parents come. But really, I wanted one last moment with him by ourselves. And I waited for a good hour until finally the funeral workers came in and they started packing everything up to close the casket and move it to the next room. So I took that chance. I took that chance. I went up to him. I kneeled over him. And it was just 1 minute, but it felt like a good hour. Said my goodbyes until his neighbor came up behind me and tugged my shoulder saying, we gotta go. They're closing up, we gotta go. And I didn't want to go. I was holding on to the side of it until a voice in my head said, you gotta let go. You have to move on, he's gone. And so, in that area of town, there's not really good internet signal, but in the funeral, for some reason in the funeral home there was. So I checked my phone, and I went outside right after the viewing, and I looked at my email, and I saw a specific email I was actually waiting for, and it said, "Congratulations, you received a bid for Alpha Kappa Psi, a fraternity that I rushed for when I got in." And I told myself, if you're going to succeed in this, if you are to move on, this is going to help you. But you have to decide right now whether you're going to move on or start the healing process and take it from there. So I flew home 3 or 4 days later, thinking I was all right, everything's fine, time to move on with life, a new chapter has come. So I get home, school starts, very hard to adjust. I didn't notice it, but I kept separating myself away from everybody, from Toastmasters, even from AK Psi. I would go to the opposite end of campus to study by myself in the most secluded building, in my opinion, which is Academic Health Center 5. 3rd or 4th floor, I study there quietly, just office workers walking back and forth, and you could hear a pin drop in that building. It's so quiet. I just wanted to be secluded. Until one day I was studying in there, and a friend of mine was asking where I was. So I said, "Yeah, you can come." I told her where I was. She came up and she asked me, "I've noticed you've been a little more isolated and alone from everybody else lately, whether it's in Toastmasters or just in general socializing. Like, I don't see you walking around campus like you usually do. Is this what you've been doing?" I go, "Yeah." And I knew why, but she finally caught on to it. She said, "Is it because your cousin passed away?" And I said, "Yeah, because it's pretty hard to adjust to something like that." And this was a month later. And even to this day, not one day has passed that I have not thought about it. And the mental stress that puts on you is tremendous. It just breaks you down into nothing. So, why am I telling you all this? Well, because I made a mistake. Because I decided to stray away from life and not do anything to improve myself, but rather drown in sadness and regret. And I'm sure all of us here have lost a loved one. We've broken up with a loved one in the past, and it's had a tremendous effect on us. And this is the first time that has ever happened to me, that someone that close has passed away. And I was only a month older, 20 years old, gone in a second, just like that. But I'm here to say to you today that whether you've lost a loved one, whether a family member or a friend or a loved one, whether recently or sometime in the past, do not let their memory bring you sadness and regret, but rather happiness and appreciation. Do not let their memory cause you to stray away from life, but rather embrace it even closer. And do not let their memory cause you to falter on your goals that you have set, but rather achieve them and go beyond. Because I believe that is the true test of strength, endurance, and sustainability, and is the basis for success. Thank you. And I would like to congratulate the Toastmaster, because starting today, the healing and the progress, the healing itself, I should say, is done, and the progress begins. And Mr. Toastmaster, I would like to congratulate you, because today you shake hands with a new man today, an improved man, a stronger man, who's ready to take on the goals that he has preset in the past and finally take control of his destiny. Thank you, and God bless.